Hello, friends. Welcome to Pieces Here, the daily series exploring the architects of enough. We continue our theme, The Path of Radical Simplicity, by honoring Saint Francis of Assisi. He made the ultimate radical choice, renouncing one of the great fortunes of his day to prove that by owning nothing, you become truly free to serve everything. Architect of Enough. Saint Francis of Assisi, born in Italy around 1181, is perhaps the most profound historical example of the path of radical simplicity. He was the son of a wealthy silk and textile merchant living an extravagant and privileged youth. Yet following a spiritual crisis, he turned away from all of it with astonishing finality. His life became a dramatic public demonstration of paupertas, absolute poverty. He publicly stripped off his fine clothes and returned them to his furious father, symbolizing his complete rejection of inherited wealth and the social structures it demanded. Francis chose a life of total simplicity, adopting a rough robe and owning nothing. He founded the Franciscan order based on this principle, insisting his followers live without money, property, or complex institutions. For Francis, simplicity was not a sacrifice, but a liberation. It was the only way to achieve pure spiritual joy and serve those society ignored. This radical poverty fueled his boundless compassion. He embraced lepers, cared for the sick, and famously spoke of the unity of creation, viewing all creatures, from his brother's sun to sister moon, as equal parts of God's family. Francis showed the world that when you simplify your life to the point of owning nothing, you gain everything: the freedom to love universally and a clarity of purpose that money can never buy. For a deeper look into his spiritual vision, read The Little Flowers of Saint Francis, a classic collection of stories about his life. The Enough Reflection. Saint Francis teaches that radical simplicity isn't about saving money. It's about removing the barriers that wealth and status create between ourselves and others. When we stop trying to maintain possessions, we gain the energy and empathy needed for connection and service. His life forces us to ask, what do my possessions cost me in terms of my freedom to connect and serve? Pedro says, when Saint Francis of Assisi first started preaching, he was so dedicated to absolute poverty that he forbade his followers from touching money. To avoid defilement, they were instructed that if a coin was accidentally received, they should pick it up with their teeth and immediately drop it onto a rock to be discarded, a practice deemed necessary then, but which seems radical today. Dirty money, anyone? What is one commitment or activity in my life that I maintain solely to protect or acquire possessions? How might simplifying my life, physically or financially, create new freedom or opportunity to serve my community? This reminds me of one of the tips from Peace Stuff Enough, the new companion book to One More Year. You can find it and follow the Kickstarter at avaskalfsbeck.com/Kickstarter. Words to keep. Saint Francis believed that the truest form of teaching was found in lived example, reinforcing the power of simple, embodied action. He said, "It is no use walking anywhere to preach unless our walking is our preaching." He taught us that our life, simplified and lived with intention, is the only sermon that truly matters. If this daily message has brought you peace, please take a moment to subscribe and share this episode with someone who needs it. That was the life and wisdom of our architect of enough for this episode. If their story has inspired you to seek your own path to less consumption and more contentment, then please step off the treadmill with me. Let's learn from the architects of enough and discover together that for our planet, for our community, and for ourselves, peace is here. To follow my work, including the new book, Peace Stuff Enough, the entire Pedro the Water Dog Saves the Planet series, and the podcast archive, visit avaskalfsbeck.com. That's also where you can find the link to my current Kickstarter. Our music is Dalai Lama Riding a Bike by the talented Javier Peque Rodriguez. You can find links to his music on Spotify and Bandcamp in the show notes. Thank you again. Listen for the peace.